so we can make sure we're as close as we can to the real conditions when we launch it based off what this thing is telling us. And basically what we get back from this is all of our everyday meteorological quantities. So we get temperature measured here. We have a couple holes you can see in the sonde itself where we can measure humidity and how much moisture is in the atmosphere. We get a pressure sensor, what the pressure is as we go up. And it also has GPS chip in it. So what we're able to do from our computer outside there is track it with GPS. And by tracking where it was from one point to the next, we're able to figure out what the wind speed and direction was. And so that's how we get winds out of it. And then we have our antenna, which radios it all back to the surface here, where we can keep track of it in real time. So every second, we're getting data from this. And the flight will last usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how well it goes. And so we get a lot of data back from this. Once it is launched, and like I said, it takes about 2 hours to go up, it will reach a height of about 100,000 feet. So we're talking well above where planes normally fly. In general, a successful flight is reaching airplane cruising altitude. Once we get there, we've gotten pretty much most of the atmosphere sampled, and we can use that data. But it will keep going for a long time till a good flight will get to 6 millibars, which means that there isn't much atmosphere left by the time this thing pops. And for those of you that know a little bit about the physics and how pressure works, as the balloon goes up and the pressure goes down, the balloon's going to expand. And so this balloon keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it's about the size of a 2-car garage.
Wow.
And then it finally pops and comes back down, and that's why we have our orange parachute here, because this sonde will come back down to Earth, and we want it to slow down and make a nice soft landing. And oftentimes in this area, since we don't have a lot of major bodies of water here, we do get a lot of these landing on people's property. And what we have here is not only a sticker that tells us when and where it was launched from and what time, but we have a remove tab for mailing instructions. We have a prepaid envelope in there where we can put the radio sonde back in it when it's found and send it to, I believe, Kansas City to get reconditioned. They'll take parts off of it that are still working, and they'll put it on a new radio sondes. And it's kind of a cool thing that we do here. Nationally, about 30% of these are sent back, and most of that number comes from the fact that you've got East Coast stations that are launching and ending up in the Atlantic. So you're never getting those back. But in our area, it's pretty common.